There is this great line in the second episode of Hard Knocks where they talk about the city of Detroit being the city that truly taught the nation how to become mobile. So today, I thought we'd come to Detroit and celebrate the car culture. And to do that, I'm gonna need a car.
So how did I get this car? Well, that's actually another cool piece of technology. It's an app called Turo, which is kind of like the Airbnb of cars. And so you go on there and you say, hey, look, I want a cool car because I'm going to be in Detroit for the day. What do you have for me? And they say, hey, Simon has a Mach-E. What do you think about a Mach-E? And you say, yeah, I'm thinking Mach-E.
Now, if we're celebrating car culture in Detroit, we have to get to the Henry Ford Museum at some point, which is where we are. History through artifacts is what the Henry Ford Museum of American Innovation does. I'm here to explore what drives America, and there are so many exhibits, it's hard not to get inspired. Now, if you listen to my podcast with Byron Reese, you know that this is a Galton board, which means every time those balls fall, they make that exact same shape. All day, every day. 365 days a year. And if that's not magic, well, it's not magic, it's probability, but it feels magical. With over 100 vehicles and 20 interactive touchscreen exhibits, you walk away thinking about transportation and culture in a completely different way. The thing I would say about the Henry Ford Museum, it's what I would call an all-day museum, but we do not have time for that because we have more adventures to go on in the Mach-E. On the way out of the Henry Ford, I noticed that the Automotive Hall of Fame was having an exhibit with Mustangs, which is a hint about where we're going next. We cannot have a conversation about car culture in Detroit without talking about the Woodward Dream Cruise, which is happening as I am in Detroit. And the whole thing starts today at the M1 Concourse with the Woodward Dream Show. The other awesome thing about this show is every single one of these cars has a story, and if you're here, you get time to hear these stories and watch people light up as they hear stories about their favorite car. It's been awesome. After the Dream Show, it was back downtown to meet Tim Slusser. He is the Chief Mobility Officer for the City of Detroit to talk about this year's auto show. We're on the precipice of this year's auto show. There is a lot of excitement because all of these changes were pre-COVID and we just never really kind of landed on the outdoor space. We're in one right now in Campus Martius.
The auto show is now going to have more activations outside. There's going to be more demonstrations. They're starting to transition from just the automobile to mobility in general, okay? So this auto show is going to look and feel very different than auto shows of years past.
A lot of that auto show energy will be right behind me at Huntington Place, where it's been every single year. So you'll see a lot of the exhibits here, but because of the weather, you can also see them here at Hart Plaza, right across the street from where I'm standing, and of course, there'll also be activations at Campus Martius, where we just met Tim. Now, I've been driving the Mach-E all day, so I thought since I had Tim, I'd ask him how we should think about EV charging being different than a gas station.
The future of refueling your EV, in my opinion, should look very different than the current model, which is, gas station. There's opportunities, like you said, to locate these in places where people want to visit and then go spend some time. That infrastructure costs less. It's less of a burden on the grid. It's a great solution. So what we're trying to do at the City of Detroit and other cities like us, we're trying to figure out where can we put that infrastructure to incentivize that behavior.
Now, one of those locations complete with charging is our next stop, the Ford House. So I've got this theory about profound innovation, that you need some green space, some place to connect with nature. And so today, I thought we'd end this trip at a place that does those two things, encapsulates innovation and shows you a bunch of nature. So we're stopping today at the Ford House, the home of Edsel and Eleanor. As you check out this historic landmark, you can think of the grounds divided into three feelings: the The feeling of wonder as you check out the designs that Etzel created. The ability to wander throughout the formal gardens, the flower lane, the bird island, and that pool. Man, that pool. And exploring places like Josephine's Playhouse, the Gate Lodge, and everything else the Ford House has to offer.
I think the only other thing I've seen that is like this is I spent some time in Jekyll Island, which there is a JP Morgan house and a Rockefeller house down there. This looks very similar. Super impressive here.
I was absolutely blown away here, and it was the perfect end to a perfect day exploring the car culture of Detroit. So that's it. That wraps up our trip. I'm just throwing the charge on the car so that the next person can enjoy the Mach-E. I cannot wait to see you at the auto show. Till next adventure, friends. See ya.